The Self-Love Sanctuary Show. Self-Love Sanctuary Show. With your host, Coach LuRussia.
Hello, and thank you for tuning into the Self-Love Sanctuary Show. I am your host, Coach LuRussia. I have my tea. I hope that you have your tea, your coffee, or your favorite beverage as we sit back and chat. Well, today we have another phenomenal show and another phenomenal guest. And I know that I say this every week, but we only have phenomenal guests and a phenomenal show on the Self-Love Sanctuary Show. Well, today in the co-host here, we have LuRussia Cain. She is the owner of Finding Acceptable Balance Coaching. And she is a fab mentor. I tell you, she is a plus size motivator. She is beautiful. She is courageous. She's all things inspiring and encouraging. I tell you, she walks on the runway of life and she owns every bit of it. So I am not going to prolong our time together. I'm going to bring her in live so she can share with us. Hello, Clarissa.
Hello, LuRussia.
Hello, how are you?
I'm doing awesome. How are you tonight?
I'm doing wonderful. I am turning it over to you.
Thank you so much. Good evening, everyone. Good evening, good night. As Ms. LuRussia said, I am LuRussia Cain, your fab motivator. And today I want to stick down with the same lines of choosing me. And so in life, we make many choices. Today, I just want to share some tools with you that hopefully motivate you to choose yourself. If I'm being totally honest, when LuRussia invited me on to do this call, I was a little bit intimidated. I'm like, Lord, how do I speak to the people for 40 minutes straight and I not get to read a body language? I not get to see a facial expression. I not get to see a head nod or anything. How do I know that I get my point across? How do I know that they hear me well, and so forth? So many different things went through my head, but I just want to let you know that I'm pushing all nerves aside and that I'm choosing to pursue after my passion. My passion is to travel this world and to speak, and so I'm choosing to allow myself to let God use me. And that's the thing about a lot of times when we choose to go after our dreams, a lot of times it causes us to push fears aside. It causes us to push doubts aside and just trust in God and to believe. And so as I sit here with you today, I'm hoping that some of the things that I'm able to say to you can help inspire you to go after your dreams. Just in case you're wondering, that's India Irene, beautiful flower. And I love that song so much because it speaks life to people, especially to those who either lost love in themselves or for those that lost hope in themselves. Also, before I forget, I want to say thank you so much, LuRussia, for giving me the opportunity to speak on here with you in the Self-Love Sanctuary. And I've been there. I've been that girl that lost hope or that girl that didn't think that I'm able to do certain things. And so I just want to be able to share a little bit of my stories. I've always wanted to speak. I've always wanted to travel the world, and I wanted to talk. And as much as I've always wanted to talk, I've always had different adversities that said, no, you want to be a speaker, but you're not qualified to speak. And so I just want to shed a little bit of light on some of the things that the world tried to tell me that I wasn't qualified to do. And maybe some of you can relate to it. And by seeing that someone else has gone through some of the same things that you went through, you'll know that there is a way out, or some of the things that you may currently be going through, that there's a way out. And so first, I'll start off with my childhood. I was born into a loving family, but however, within that loving family, there was a lot of chaos. Some domestic violence with my mom and my dad fighting, to substance abuse, crack cocaine uses, to being put in foster care when I was 10 years old. Just an unstable environment in general, to where you would say a young lady that was born into this childhood has too much against her to be able to travel the world and speak and be known publicly for being a speaker. Or maybe I can talk about the fact how I was born into poverty, and then I tried to find my way out by going to college, flunked out my freshman year, got the lowest grades ever in my freshman year, lost my scholarship. I did finish school. It took me 5 years to finish my 4-year degree. And then I landed a job in which I made $14 an hour, but on $40,000 in student loans. And so, that someone that's going through that maybe is thinking, how can you now travel the world and speak and be this known speaker to travel the world? Or maybe I should mention that 4 months after graduating from college, I became pregnant, which then made me a single mom of a little boy. And so now I'm working a job, not making much money, and taking on the responsibility of parenting a little one on my own. But out of those things, the one thing that the enemy tried to use to take me down the most was the fact that I reached 515 pounds in my adult life. And that 515 pounds was the one thing that the enemy thought that he could use to destroy me, because I fought through depression to where I felt like my quality of life was bad and that I couldn't get out of that quality of life. I fought with anxiety, with, going through different pains and not knowing if I left my car and I parked somewhere, how far my car was, because I couldn't walk that long. Or if I wanted to go out somewhere, I needed to know if they had chairs, and I needed to know if anybody was going to be looking at me funny, and if I could find clothes that I can fit. I fought with fear, again, wanted to know what people was going to think about me. Isolation, not allowing myself to go to church events and going to do certain things because I was afraid of not being able to stand while I'm there, or not being able to sit inside of a chair, or not being able to walk the distance there. I suffered from low self-esteem, not being able to look inside of a full-size mirror. I felt as if I was beautiful from the face up, but when it came from looking at myself on my lower half, I didn't feel beautiful. And so how could this young lady at 515 pounds dream of traveling the world and speaking in front of audiences? How could this young lady that does not have the ability to stand over 5 minutes get on a stage and speak for 20, 30, 40 minutes? You see, the devil had a plan to where he thought that he was going to be able to hold me back and set me back. But I stand here to here today with you as a speaker, as a young lady who's lost 200 pounds, as a mother that's now married and that's able to take care of my child, as a mother that's breaking the curses of poverty, that's breaking the chains of being attached to domestic violence, substance abuse, and so much. I stand to here telling you that I am an overcomer, and that the same grace that I have in me is the same thing that you can use if you choose. If you choose to put yourself first, if you choose to go after your dreams, if you choose to push hard. And so in life, you'll find that you have to choose to fight. You'll find that there's not many things in life that you have a choice for, but you have a choice to figure out how are you going to react from the different opposition that you're put up against. Certainly, at 515 pounds, I could have given up and said, there's no way I'll be able to travel the world and speak because I cannot stand over for 5 minutes. Certainly, dealing with depression and domestic violence, I could have said, I'm not worthy enough to go travel the world and speak. But I choose to say I have a story that I can tell, and I know that there will be others that's able to hear from my story and is able to help them. And so you may be asking, like, Clarissa, I want to be able to choose me, but how do I choose me? How do I fight? How do I push forward? And so I have a few things here for you, some things that you can do, okay? Number one, turn it over to God. Take the weight off of your own shoulders. When I started to unleash some of the fears, some of the doubt, some of the anxiety, and I said, Lord, I'm your child. Help me, Lord. I tried, and I can't do it on my own, and I need your help, Lord. I'm turning it over to you. Once I decided to go ahead and turn it over to him, it took pressure off of me, and it allowed me to be able to sit back and listen to him, to be able to do it. And I know to say turn it over to God to somebody that's in a tough situation is sometimes it can sound like, how do I turn it over? It's like, I'm here. I'm willing to turn it over. How do I turn it over? And you just continue to pray on it, and you can turn it over to God. My next thing is lace up your boots. The devil is not going to come fight for anything that is not worth having. The devil is not going to fight you for anything that he does not see turning out to be big, that he does not see turning out to be great. And so you have to know that if you have something great that's going good for you, if you have something great that's on the inside of you, you have to know that you're going to have to fight. The Bible said, weapons will form, but they shall not prosper. So that's letting you know that things are going to come up against you. People are going to say something to you. You're going to say stuff to yourself. Opposition is going to come up to you. You're going to get ready to start a book, and then your finances may fall apart. You're going to get ready to start a new job, and then your business partner decides to quit. You're going to get ready to start a new fitness project, and then the kids act up in school. Weapons will form, but they shall not prosper. And it's because you choose that no matter what comes up around you, you're going to fight. And then number 3 is failure is not an option. Failure is not an option. You must show up for your dreams on a daily basis. I always say it's not how hard you get hit, but it's how long you stay down. I want you to picture a boxing match. There's 2 people in the ring, and one person throws a punch. It doesn't matter if he hit him with a powerpuff punch or if he hit him with an almighty punch. If he stay down, the fight is over. On the same hand, he can hit him with all his might and knock every wind up out of him. But if she decides to get back up, the fight goes on. And so no matter what, no matter how hard you get hit with life, you have to understand, okay, I may have to switch some things around. My timelines may be changed a little bit, but at the end of the day, my destination is set. And no matter what, I'm going to continue to push forward for my dreams. Number 4 is to protect your dreams. Watch what you say and watch what other people say. Life and death lies in the power of the tongue. And so we speak into our lives every day. Unfortunately, sometimes we speak negativity into our life. I can't do this. I don't have the finances for this. We can't go here. We can't go do that. And you have to speak positive into your life. I can do this. I will do this. I thank God in advance for this. And then also, when those are around you who start to speak fear and doubt, a lot of times our loved ones will speak fear and doubt into us, and it may not necessarily be out of sight. You know, sometimes it's easy to stop the tongue when it comes up against you in negativity. You know, but however, when that tongue comes up against you in love, sometimes, you know, we receive it a little bit more. Let me give you an example. At my highest, I told you I was 515 pounds, and I did decide to go to Mexico to have the gastric sleeve surgery. Out of fear for my life, my family told me, don't go. There's different things going on in the country. They're going to speak your language. What about, you know, the care and so forth? And they had rightful reasons to be afraid for me. But however, I had already taken it to my God. My God had already assured me that I would be okay. And I was okay. Long story, I did wind up gaining weight later on. But however, the procedure turned out awesome. And I have now gotten back on my weight loss journey, and I'm smaller than I've ever been. But however, my family had reasons. They had reasons to be fearful. But however, had I absorbed those fearful reasons, had I did it, I may have lost the opportunity onto something that changed my life. At 515 pounds, though my family was afraid for me, I was afraid for my life. I needed to step out against what everybody else was telling me to do and do what my God told me it was okay to go ahead and do. And so you have to protect your dreams against what other people say as well as against what you say. A lot of times when we have a dream, it's a vision that God gave you, and everybody else is not going to understand. Everybody else is not going to have the answers and the keys to let you know what's the next thing to do. And so, and it's the hardest time, because sometimes when you're like, I just need help, I just need guidance, it's God that you have to go to. You have to choose to go to God and meditate between Him and yourself and figure out what's your next step. Okay? Number 5 is grow on purpose. Grow on purpose. Don't be the smartest person in the room. If you find that you're in your circle and you're the know-it-all, and I once been that type of person to where I felt as if I was one of the smartest people in the room, right? And then I told myself, I said, Rissa, you have to get around some new friends. And so I started to get me new friends and started to get me new business partners. And then it got intimidating, right? because then it's like, whoa, a lot more people got more going on than what you do currently. Maybe your friends are able to go on certain trips that you can't quite afford just yet, or maybe your business partners are doing transactions that you don't even understand how to go, and so it can be intimidating to where you can say, let me draw back, let me not come in the circle. But however, that's the circle that you need to be in, because that's the circle that's going to stretch you. That's the circle that you're going to be able to grow from and that you're going to be able to learn from. Pick up a book, do your Google research on purpose, grow on purpose, so that while you're choosing your destiny, you're choosing your dreams, that you're able to make educated decisions along with it. Okay. Now, you may be saying, like, how does all of this tie back in together? So let's take unstable childhood. You can go back to God and say, God, I know that I was born into a family with domestic violence, to where it was okay for a guy to hit his wife. Lord, show me what love is. Show me how to be a wife. Show me how to speak with my husband. Show me, Lord. And then also lace up my boots. If me and hubby have a disagreement, that I understand, babe, we said life or death. We in this thing together. Let's talk this thing out. Let's work things out. And then understanding that failure, it's not an option, and to protect our marriage, and be careful what others say into our marriage, and be careful to what I say to others within our marriage as well. Or maybe you can say, okay, what about the weight issue? I definitely had to turn that over to God. I remember crying in my bed late night and saying, Lord, I've tried everything to get this weight up off of me, and I just need you to step in, and I need you to show me the way to be able to get this weight up off of me. And then I had to definitely lace up my boots and say, okay, God, you say you're going to help me. Now I'm here and I'm ready. I'm ready to turn it over to you. And I'm ready to fight. I'm ready to get up and exercise, even though I've been diagnosed with arthritis and they told me by the time I was 50 I'd be a WFT. I'm ready to get up and work out. I'm ready to get up and try to eat right, even though I have a sweet tooth that just loves the sweets. I'm willing to try. Protect your dreams. Being careful of what you say to yourself, not telling myself I love junk, not telling myself I can't eat right, not telling myself I don't like to exercise, but speaking life. I know with my arthritis, when I walk, even with the pain, I say, Lord Jesus, I thank you that I'm healed. I thank you that these knees are pain-free. I thank you that I'm able to jump and run. I'm thinking them in advance for the things that I know that's going to come inside the future. And so you have to learn to be able to do those same things with your life. Okay? And so I want to talk to you about, like I said, speaking into your life, using affirmations. With inside of my support group, I speak with the ladies often about using affirmations and finding the right way to use affirmations. And so normally I do activities where you have to create your own affirmations, but because it's just us here listening, I have 3 affirmations that's here for you. Hopefully you can write them down. And these are some helpful ones that you can use. These affirmations are pulled directly from the Bible itself that you can use. And so number 1 is, I am not destined for stumbling or destruction. I have a noble purpose and hope. That's 1 Peter chapter 2, verses 8 through 9. When you say your affirmations, you say it like you believe it. You say it like it's going on right now. You watch your body posture. You watch your tone. You look at yourself in the mirror and you smile. Oftentimes, we'll say affirmations and it's something that we're trying to speak into our life. And if your body language needs to reflect what your words say. Because your brain is smart. Your brain is smart. It's also reprogrammable. And so even if you feel one way, you can change it to make it feel another way. But your words and your body language must match. Picture it this way. Have you ever had someone ask you, how do you feel? Or how are you doing today? And your words say, I'm doing okay, I'm doing good, but your body language says something else. And you're like, no, I can tell something's off. Your brain is the same way. So even though you're speaking light into your life, but if your body language does not ooze the same thing, you'll send mixed confusion. So make sure when you're doing your affirmations that you're looking in the mirror and you're saying it strong. If I'm going to repeat it again. I am not destined for stumbling or destruction. I have a noble purpose and hope. 1 Peter chapters 2, verses 8 through 9. What stood out to me in this affirmation is the word noble. The word noble means belonging to a hereditary class with high social or political status. Okay? Listen, I can speak well, but sometimes my wording get a little twisted, but you get what I'm saying. But basically it's telling you that you belong to a high class, that you are a child of God, that He is high and high. And so therefore, you are not born to stumble. You are not born to have destruction. You are born to be great. You are born with a purpose. There was a plan set out for your life before you were even thought of in your mother's womb. And so you're not set. You're not set to be average. You're not set for failure. You're not set for any of that. You're set to overcome and to triumph over everything. Okay. Number 2, the Lord is my light. As dark as this world may seem, I do not have to walk in darkness. That's Psalms 27:1. The Lord is my light. As dark as this world may seem, I do not have to walk in darkness. What stood out to me? The Lord is my light. But I mean, when the bills are behind, I'm not looking at the current situation. Those things may seem dark. They may seem down. I'm looking at the Lord because the Lord is my light. And He says to walk by faith, not by sight. That means when I'm on my diet and things may not be going right, that the Lord is my light. That means when my husband is not acting right, the Lord is my light. That means when my children are misbehaving, the Lord is my light. That means when my business plans fall apart, the Lord is my light. That means when I get ready to write my book and I get lost for words, the Lord is my light. That means whatever situation it is that you can find that yourself going through, the Lord is your light. And so if you look to Him, no matter how dark the situation may seem, no matter how dark the situation can get, He is your light and He will illuminate everything for you. And if you notice, I said how dark the situation may seem, because a lot of times we think that things are so bad and things are going on so awful, but you don't know that my God has a plan for you that's setting everything in place that's going to work. At 515 pounds, the enemy thought he was knocking me out. The enemy thought he was going to kill me. He thought he was going to destroy me. But at 515 pounds, it taught me so many lessons. It humbled me so much. It connected me to so many people. It gave me a wow factor to stand up and to tell my story. And so though that situation seemed so dark, my God was my light, and He had a plan that I did not understand. He had a plan that at 515 pounds I could not see. He had a plan as that little girl sitting in the corner with domestic violence and fear. He didn't know. I didn't know that there was a plan for me to have a voice. I didn't know that there was a plan for me to have another platform. I didn't know when I was a single mother having my child that my child was going to be my main reason for giving me life to live. I didn't know. But in that darkness that I thought was so dark, my God was there for life. Number 3, I'm no longer a slave to fear, for I am a child of God. Galatians 4:7. I am no longer a slave to fear, for I am a child of God. Galatians 4:7. Fear is the key that holds us back and that stops the hand of God from really being able to move forward. Fear of failure, fear of not having the money, fear of letting go, fear of trusting God. Think back when I first started this conference with you guys. I told you when LuRussia asked me to speak, I accepted it, very much so. Then she sent me the outline. I said, Lord, I'm going to have to talk for 30, 40 minutes straight and not be able to hear any recognition, any okay that I'm doing okay from anybody. You just feel air. But my God said, go ahead. But see, sometimes people will let that fear set them back. You know, how many of us want to write a book, but we're fearful that we won't be able to sell the book, and so we don't write the book? How many of us want to pursue our dreams and want to start careers, but we're fearful of letting go of the 9 to 5 because we don't think that we'll be able to pay our bills? How many of us want to have children, but because we're fearful of not being able to take care of that child, we haven't started our family? There's fear that holds us back so many times, and when we operate in fear, we don't give God to really the chance to show up in our life. And so we have to know that I'm not a slave to fear because I am a child of God. That means no matter what it is that I come up against, my God is going to step in and he's going to help me. It may not be in the terms that I understand. It may not be in the timing that I want, but in the all in all, he has my back. That no matter how tough the situation may seem, at the end, he will come through and he will come make sure that I fall out on top of every situation. And so one of the other things that I would like to leave with you guys is whoop whoop. Whoop whoop is terms that I use all the time when I work out live on social media. And to many, the word whoop whoop, it may sound kind of crazy. It's like, why is she saying whoop whoop? Or it may sound like big deal. But whoop whoop is what my Fab Finance Ethical Balance supporters do all the time. And so I'm going to break down to you what whoop whoop stands for. The W is willpower, to mentally be able to know no matter what it is that you find yourself up against, no matter what it is that you may face, that you have the strength inside of you to be able to put your mind to whatever it is that you desire to do. The H stands for hope, to be positive, to be able to vision yourself at your dream. A lot of times we may say that we want something, but we're not even able to visualize ourselves there. We can say, I want to own a home. Okay, what would that home look like? How many rooms would that home have? How many bathrooms would that home have? What colors is that room? Vision yourself there in your dream. I want to be able to lose 100 pounds. Okay, let's not just look at the number on the scale, but what are some things that you would do at 100 pounds? What are some places you would go at 100 pounds less? What are some things that you would wear at 100 pounds less? Visualize yourself there in your dreams. You're able to achieve whatever it is that you see. And so if you cannot visualize yourself at your dreams, it's a lot less likely that you're going to be able to make it there. And so we have to understand that when we're visualizing our dreams, even if we don't quite understand how we're going to get there, what we're going to do to get there, we just need to at least be able to vision ourselves there and have a little bit of hope that we can get there. The next thing is optimistic. To look at the glass more full than more empty. To work with the positive things that you have going for your life. And so you may want to say, I want to start up a business, but I have no know-how on what to do. But what do you know? Maybe you have connections. Maybe you have people that you can reach out to. Maybe you have a school that's within your area that you can go to. On my fitness journey, with the fact that I have the arthritis in both of my knees, but I have a solid back, I have a solid heart, I have strong arms, and so maybe I can't do a full jumping jack, but maybe I can do a modified jumping jack. You have to look at a lot of times in life, we focus so much on what we do not have, and we allow what we do not have to hold us back, but not understanding that my God is a multiplier. He's a multiplier. There's so many virtues in the Bible, so many scriptures in the Bible to where he took a little of nothing and he said, go do, and I'm going to turn it into greatness because you were great with the few that I gave you. And so go take this little bit that I gave you and go multiply it, and I'm going to multiply it. You step one foot out, and I'm going to multiply it. And so we have to be optimistic. We have to be positive, and we have to work with the things that we have. The next one is hope. In life, we make promises to so many different things. We make promises to our children and their activities that they're in. We make promises to the neighbors. We make promises to our spouses. But when it comes down to time for us, we push our dreams on the sideline a lot of times. Well, I have to take the kids to soccer practice, and I have to take the kids here. I don't have time to write today. Well, I went to work, and I worked for 50 hours this week. I don't have time to invest time into my own business today. Well, I'm doing this and I'm doing this. I don't have time to meal prep and cook healthy today. We make promises to so many different things. But when it comes to us, we say, I'm going to start the business. I'm going to start the fitness journey. This is the date that I'll have it by. And if one slight little thing come up, it's like, can't do it. But let you promise your kids that you're going to take them to Chuck E. Cheese on Saturday. You can be dog tired on Saturday morning. So tired, almost sick, sniffling through the nose. But you're still going to take those kids to Chuck E. Cheese. And you're going to be tired and you're going to be going through there. You may sit down there, but you're still going to go. You're going to give it some effort 9 times out of 10. We need to have that same drive when it comes to us and our goals, and when it comes to us going after our dreams, and when it comes to us putting ourselves first. That I said that I was going to do X, Y, Z for myself, and I'm going to make sure that I set it up within a proper time frame, and that I actually go ahead and do what I said that I was going to do for myself. The last one here I have is perseverance. It's to be able to push. Be able to push. Like I said, things are going to come up. In life, there's nothing that goes in a straight angle. Everything goes up and down. You have your highs and you have your lows. You have your turns and you have your heels. But at the end of the day, you have to push. You have to pray. And you have to keep fighting. You have to keep fighting for all of your dreams. And don't give up on yourself. And when you add all of those different things together, that's when you're able to move through. You know, in life, we're going to always find things that's going to try to get us down. We're going to always find things that try to distract us and try to throw us off guard. But you're going to have to be able to make sure you move. And this is what's going to help you to be able to choose yourself. To be able to choose yourself. A lot of times we choose so many different things. And a lot of times we say, Lord, I have this that's going against me. And I have this that's going against me. Or you look at someone else's situation and you're like, Lord, how did they get to do X, Y, Z? And I'm sitting here and I'm trying to do X, Y, Z. I said all the time, the difference between a person that made it and a person that did not make it is the person that made it didn't give up. They didn't give up. And your dreams, your passions, they don't grow overnight a lot of times. And a lot of times when it's your passion and it's your legacy that you're living, a lot of times there's not a blueprint that's written out for you beforehand. And a lot of times we have to use that gut feeling. We have to use that inkling, and we have to rely on God, and we're trying to decipher, Lord, what's your voice? What's my voice? What's the enemy's voice? You know? But you have to just continue to pray and continue to push forward. And you have to show up consistently for you and for your dreams. You know, I'll leave you last with talking about the bamboo plant. The Chinese bamboo plant. It's one of those plants that grows, and it grows up to like over 90 feet. But however, the first 3 years of growing, everything is underneath the ground. And it's up to its owner to water it every day. Any day missed could stop the growth of the tree. Now, however, you're watering it every day. But the first 3 years, you don't see anything sprout. You don't see anything sprout. But you have to have faith that even though you're watering it and that you don't see anything, that it's still growing. Within the 3rd and the 5th year, the tree grows like 50 to 90 feet. So fast, so fast. And a lot of our dreams, the same way. You're fighting, you're fighting, you're fighting. You're praying over your relationships. You're praying over your children. You're praying over your businesses. And you're planting these seeds. And you're like, Lord, I don't see the change coming. I don't see where the light is. I don't see where I'm making a difference. I don't see where I'm having an impact. But if you continue to water it, you continue to whoop through it, you continue to think positive, you continue to be encouraged, you continue to grow on purpose, you continue to develop yourself, you continue to fight, you continue to not give up. And just know that those seeds that you are planting, they're growing. They're developing. You may not see it yet, but they're growing and they're developing. The way that my God works, He can change your life within an instant. And sometimes I know my pastor tells me all the time that, Clarissa, God said He wants to do so much for you. See, Clarissa is It's a fighter, right? And so again, it's like, I got it, God. I got it, God. I got it, God. He's like, Rissa, let me do some of it for you. You know, sometimes he say, you can go work and you can talk to 100 people. And if you would have just trusted and you would have believed in me, I could have got you in the door with the very first person, you know. And so I'm working on that even within myself. I'm working on saying, okay, God, I trust you. I know walking away from my job, my full-time career as a case manager, just stepping out doing my own business and finding successful balance coaching took a lot of faith. And I had some of my days where I'm like, Lord, are you sure I should have left? And then I have some of my days where, like now, I feel like I'm on top of the world. And I say, okay, God, this dream that I said I wanted to do, that I wanted to travel the world and speak, it can be possible. It is possible. It is happening. For that little girl who had substance abuse inside of her home, who thought that women didn't have the right to speak out and have a voice. That little girl who was born into poverty and who was not the college scholar and who didn't do all that well with spelling and who sometimes stumbles across her words. She can speak. That young lady who was a single mom who didn't know how she was going to be able to cover all the bills, who didn't have a whole heap of support. That young lady who was 515 pounds, who couldn't stand for over 5 minutes, who had low self-esteem and couldn't look into a full-size mirror, who loved herself but was afraid to be herself in front of other people. That young lady, if she continued to plant those seeds, if she continued to water those plants, she can grow into this picture that you see. Yes. Yes, I can. Yes, you can. Yes, we can. As long as we choose to keep pushing, choose to keep growing, choose to keep believing in yourself. And at the end of the day, when there's faith lost in yourself, know that God is your light and that no matter what it is that you can do it. If He put a seed inside of you, if He put a thought inside of you, if He put a dream inside of you, that you're able to see it through. And know that you may not know. If you would have asked me 2 years ago, Clarissa, are you going to be a published author? I would have told you no. If you would have asked me 5 years ago, Clarissa, are you going to be a motivational speaker, speaking in front of hundreds, thousands of people? I would have told you I doubt it. If you would have said, Clarissa, are you going to be a fitness motivator, showing people how to exercise? 5 years ago, I couldn't stand 5 minutes. 5 years ago, let's give it a little bit more. Almost 6.5 years ago, I had anxiety just walking to my car. I would have never thought that God was going to see my dreams through if I was looking at the situations that I found myself in. And so I leave you with, some of you are in situations where you don't know where the light is going to come from. But I just want you to know, just stay encouraged, just stay motivated, just stay prayed up, and know that you can do anything that you put your mind to, that you can overcome any obstacle that you were built into, and that the things that the enemy thought that he was going to be able to use to hold you down, to set you back, are going to be the very things that you're able to use as a testimony, are going to be the very things that make you relatable, that make you understanding to other people, are going to be the very things that open up doors that nobody else can close. And so I love you all, and I'm going to turn you back over to LuRussia.
Oh, my God. Thank you so much, Clarissa, for speaking into our life and sharing with us your powerful testimony and transformation of all the great things you've gone through and overcome. I'm just grateful that you started it off and you kicked it off with a bang. And I just want to say thank you so much. For the listening audience, you have been listening to the Self-Love Sanctuary Show with Coach LuRussia.
The Self-Love Sanctuary Show.
If you would like to contact me, my email address is theslsanctuary@gmail.com, or visit my website at theselflovesanctuarycc.com.